It's no use. You can hate Demon Slayer all you want. We fans don't care. Today, I'm bringing a complete analysis of the movie, so get ready because it's full of spoilers. This movie is, without a doubt, unbelievable. It not only raises the bar for animation and storytelling, but also redefines what we expect from an adaptation. It's almost like an epic progression, where the best is saved for last, but the beginning already hits us with overwhelming force. Before we start, go ahead and leave your like. Your support is essential for this content to reach more people. Also, I really want to know your opinion. From 0 to 10, what's your rating for the movie? What was your favorite scene, and which scene did you like the least? One of the most positively surprising things about this movie was the inclusion of original scenes. Honestly, I didn't expect the movie to add so much new content. Things we never imagined could be added to the Infinity Castle arc were brilliantly inserted. I'm talking about moments like Mitsuri and Obanai having their own highlights. During the movie's promotion, I found it strange that they promoted all the Hashiras, with posters for each one. But would they have significant moments in this initial part of the arc? The movie slapped us in the face and proved otherwise. It brought original scenes for practically all the characters who would take longer to appear for the first time, like Tokido, whom we would only see in this second movie. But here, we already see him in action with Guillaume. This is sensational, as it modifies the arc in an incredibly positive way. Ufotable managed to take the manga structure, which already works well, and amplify it in a way that borders on perfection. Although many speculated about a possible change in the order of the fights, that wouldn't make sense. And the first major fight presented to us is Shinobu's against Doma, and that's where the movie's intensity truly begins to manifest.
My friends, the fight between Shinobu and Doma is a real punch to the gut right from the start. It was a tense, heart-wrenching moment. In the very first moments, we are confronted with Doma's brutality, devouring pieces of, well, you know what. This immediately sets the tone. This Oni is not ordinary. He is cruel and a bit disturbed in the head. Throughout the fight, the apprehension for Shinobu is constant. We know she possesses less physical strength, but her speed is undeniable. However, several other obstacles make her situation extremely complicated. It's crucial to mention how the insect breathing was enhanced in a way that the manga doesn't even compare. In the original material, this part of the fight doesn't have the dazzling effects we see in the animation. It's not just a visual improvement, but implementations that Ufotable, with the probable participation of the author, brought to the screen. Shinobu's breathing effects were a true innovation in the anime, and it's truly commendable. The expectations regarding Doma's Ice Blood Demon art were wonderfully met. It's beautiful, truly. All the particles that make up his ice abilities are visually stunning, unlike anything we've seen in previous seasons. The environment of Doma's private castle, with the surrounding water and all the details, is simply wonderful. There's no other word to describe it. It's beautiful. Shinobu's backstory, especially her connection with her sister Kanae, was fantastically explored. The entire connection between Shinobu and Doma is intrinsically linked to Kanae's death at the demon's hands. This is fundamental, as it makes us feel her death in a very heavy way. Although I still feel that Rengoku's death impacted me much more. This fight delivered everything we expected. Furthermore, it allowed us to learn a little more about Doma's past, confirming what we already knew. He is a psychopath. Since childhood, he was not normal, and his approach as a demon is different from all others, being even more delusional than Giko, for example.
The fight between Zenitsu and Kaigaku was one of the most anticipated moments, especially for those who hadn't read the manga and wondered why Zenitsu had been so serious since receiving that letter. The manga already prepared us for the suffering, but seeing Zenitsu carrying the grief for his grandfather alone without sharing it with anyone intensifies the depth of this combat. Zenitsu, despite hating Kaigaku, respected him as a senior, aware of his grandfather's feelings, who wished for both of them to succeed the thunder breathing together. However, Kaigaku's betrayal prevented this. It's fascinating to see how Zenitsu molded himself into this more serious character. Although his goofy and cheerful side still exists, the gravity of the situation transformed him. A visually impactful point is seeing for the first time an Oni using a breathing technique. Kaigaku uses a demonic thunder breathing with black lightning and purple lights. Visually, it's beautiful. This adaptation also serves to prove that although the manga might have given the impression that Zenitsu humiliated Kaigaku, the film, with its soundtrack and well-adapted moments, shows that Zenitsu almost died. His survival came from the creation of the seventh form of thunder breathing. And we cannot forget the importance of Hashira, who was crucial for Zenitsu's survival, preventing him from dying along with his rival. Kaigaku's death is also portrayed in an interesting way. In the manga, I don't remember it being so impactful, but in the film, we feel all the agony of Kaigaku disintegrating with no more options to overcome Zenitsu. It's very satisfying, but I still find Kaigaku's motivation very generic, and their fight could have been a bit longer. What do you think? My friends, let's be realistic. The fight between Tanjiro, Tomioka, and Akaza is by far the best fight in the film. Shinobu's fight is very good, Zenitsu's is even better, and then we get to this one against Akaza, which is simply something you can't understand what you're watching. And yes, in the end, everyone was crying over Akaza's sad past. That said, Usui and Gyuturo's fight is still the best, don't you agree? It's important to make it clear that even though many feel hatred for Akaza due to what he did to Rengoku, the film leads us to question if this can change. Before we get into that part, I need to emphasize how everything was done regarding Tomioka and his individual confrontation with Akaza. It's out of this world. I never imagined it would have such a grand proportion precisely because in the manga, we have none of that. This fight made me very happy as we finally saw Tanjiro showing that he is now officially Hashira level, according to Ginyu, the water Hashira. As we entered an arc with very heavy moments, it was natural for extra powers to start emerging. Tanjiro's mark alone wouldn't solve the situation. Ginyu also awakens his mark in a mind-blowing moment. We see Tomioka angry for the first time as he faces the opponent who made him awaken all his senses in a life-or-death situation. It was the perfect moment for the mark to appear. Too bad the mark isn't colored as many fan theories suggested, but we already knew it would be red. The same happens with Tanjiro, with the evolution of the mark and the understanding of the transparent world. The adaptation of this ability was perfect. It's like an X-ray vision. And as if that weren't enough, Tanjiro receives yet another upgrade. From the beginning of the fight, Tanjiro was bothered by how Akaza could predict all his moves. And like every shonen protagonist, the protagonist needs a new power. Tanjiro remembers something from the past, thus understanding the altruistic state, or state of selflessness. An insane flashback shows Tanjiro's father, Tanjiro Kamado, decapitating a bear over 2 meters tall, revealing the level of power he possessed even when sick. And we come to Akaza's flashback, which has generated much controversy. Many comment that this is the strong point and at the same time, the weakest point of the film due to the number of flashbacks. I don't see a problem with the quantity, but perhaps the distribution could have been different because it ended up cutting a lot of the fights. Akaza's story is very heavy, and this brings an enormous emotional charge to the villain who, little by little, makes the audience move from a state of hatred to understanding and sympathizing with him. It's crazy how in 20 or 30 minutes, you can stop hating a villain and start liking him. Not even with Yutaro did we have anything similar. It's no wonder Akaza is the best written upper moon in Kimetsu. The way he is defeated by Tanjiro is beautiful. It's cool to see how they adapted this to show a side that isn't always explored. Tanjiro shines in ways that Tomioka didn't, even with all the insane scenes he got. And the moment of Akaza's death, after losing his head and self-destructing, striking blows to his own body, he had transformed into another creature, transcended. And seeing him give a slight smile, looking at Tanjiro, exuding gratitude, is beautiful. After Akaza's poetic death, the film presents us with some original scenes that serve as a perfect bridge to the second part of the trilogy, which, although still without a defined date, already leaves us anxious. It's interesting to note how Akaza's death had an instant consequence on the other Onis.
We see Doma commenting on his death, feeling that he became something different for a brief moment. Kokoshibo, in turn, reflects that Akaza opened the door to a higher path and gave up, which is exactly what happens. Akaza evolved, but gave up everything for honor, for memories, and for the humanity that returned to him in a beautiful way. I almost forgot to comment on the final moments of the film, which use Muzan's cocoon. For God's sake, guys, this is another one of those scenes that make the manga seem like something made by a child. And I love the author of Kimetsu. However, the CGI and 3D used in this part of Muzan's cocoon, despite being very good, felt a bit strange. The mix of 2D with 3D felt a bit like Netflix's Devil May Cry. It's also interesting how they choose to end the film, with Tanjiro and Tomioka fallen on the ground, the crows rooting for their masters not to die. The issue of Muzan already sets up a perfect hook for the second film, leaving everyone in distress. What will happen now? Who will fight whom? Kokoshibo has already shown it tremendous aura and gigantic expectation. Doma is still alive, and Muzan himself makes it clear that they are in hell. Only bad things are about to happen. It's bizarre to see the distress caused by the scene of Tamiyo being absorbed into Muzan's cocoon, as it shows that no one knows what's coming next. This ending of the first part of the Infinity Castle arc gave me a bit of the feeling of Avengers Infinity War. Even though Upper Moons 3 and 6 were defeated, Shinobu died, and the sense of urgency only increases. Truly, what I can tell you is that this film managed to amplify the manga by 100,000 times practically. The original material is ridiculous, in the best sense of the word. And of course, I can't forget to say, if you have the opportunity to see this film in the cinema, go! Because it will only arrive in streaming in 2026. I hope you enjoyed my analysis. I did it with a lot of heart because Kimetsu is like that. It's hard to put into words.
If you've made it this far and enjoyed this in-depth and passionate analysis, don't forget that the Demon Slayer universe is vast and fascinating. To continue exploring every corner of this world, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to not miss any of our upcoming videos. We have rich content waiting for you with detailed analysis of theories about the future of Demon Slayer. Click on the cards appearing on the screen now or use the links in the description to dive into more hours of Demon Slayer content. Your opinion is very important to us. Leave your comment and share what was the most striking moment for you in this movie. We want to know everything. Your interaction helps us create more and more quality content and strengthen our community of fans. I'll be leaving now, but the journey of Demon Slayer continues. A hug, see you later, and bye.